Hi, today we're going to talk about value practice. So we're going to start off with our ruler and we're going to trace around it. Sorry, I forgot to add that we're using a 6B pencil and a blending stump. You're going to do that twice. We're going to do two types of value scales here. This one's going to be a step value scale. It's going to be a blended value scale. Start off drawing lines at a regular interval. You're going to need 7 spaces. Try and get them even. I know mine's not there. And then we're going to number them. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. This one you don't add those. What we're doing here is we're working up and we're building our colors. So we're going to start here on the 7 because it's the easiest. And you want to try and get a nice even blend. What I'm doing here is I'm actually kind of using the side of my lead because it's nice and long right now. And I am still blending in a circular motion. Each time I'm coloring, it's just a circle like this. This helps grab all the teeth in the paper. You want to make sure that you're doing this. Give it a nice even dark. You can go over this way to add it darker. Again, I am still coloring in a circular motion. And then you go across again this way. So the idea is to gradually build up your values so that you have a really dark value here and you don't get what's called a hot spot. A hot spot is where the light reflects off because you put too much pressure too quickly on your darkest color. We're using a 6B pencil because you can get some really good darks with it and they're readily available. Next, we're going to go over here to the 6. Again, I'm going to gradually build up my layers. And we want it just a step down in value. So most things go with a 9-step. We're just going to work with a 7-step because that seems to work fairly well for everyone in understanding what we need. Okay, is this not in focus? Sorry. Let me get this closer. We'll go a little bit more in focus. Okay. And then here's the 5. Now, if you find that your hand is cramping up, move your hand to the back end of your pencil. I have a shorter pencil here, so it's not as easy. But if you have a brand new pencil and it's nice and long, you can move your hand to the back end and you will not be able to put as much pressure onto your piece. So here we have the 4. Again, as you can see, we're going lighter with each level. This allows us to build up gradually. Lets us have 7 different values for this project. Now, I'm going pretty fast because I want to get through this video. But here I'm going fairly light. Now, this is where I'm going to bring in my blending stump. I like to keep one end pretty clean. The other end I'm not going to use. And that's where I'm going to go over here and smooth this out. Smoothing it out. Getting rid of my pencil lines. Smoothing it out. As you can see, this lightens a little bit here, but darkens these ones down here because you got a nice even graphite to fill over it. And then we go in here to the 3. Now, instead of using my pencil, I'm going to use just my blending stump. This allows me to get my color in there without worrying that I'm going too dark. And then same area, Keep filling in, and there's my 1. It's always good to have some value for your 1, not just straight up white blank paper. That gives me my full step value scale. Now let's talk about the blended value scale. A blended value scale, again, has a scale of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But this time there's no lines to it, so we're going to actually work on it. What I do is I start over here on my dark end, and I'm going to build it over, going lighter with my pencil as I go down the value scale. I'm going to come up here and try and touch this up. My 7's not very dark, so we're going to go back in here again, getting it darker. You want to have that nice dark edge over on this side, because this is where you're going to get your dark blacks. I mean, it's not a black with a graphite, but the idea is that you're going to get some really dark tones. Notice I switched the direction of my pencil so that I can get more coverage. One of the things you have to be careful when you're working with pencil is to make sure that you're not getting to the actual wood here. If you do, that's going to start making scratch marks on your paper. You don't want to make gouges into your paper. Back up here again to the 7 to go darker again. But as you can see, I'm gradually building up my darkness. Using my blending stump, going over here, smoothing it out, getting a nice smooth value. I use my cleaner side to smooth out these extra lines that I got in here. As you can see, it picks up graphite really quickly. But right there, I have my blended value scale. Next thing we're going to work on is a cube. So I'm going to take our ruler, draw a line straight up and down. Don't make a really tiny cube. You want to have at least some sort of oomph to it. Yes, that's my technical term right now, oomph. Okay, so it's more of a rectangle, that's okay. And then note, one of the things I do is keep my ruler straight so I know where I'm going. To get it to look three-dimensional, I pick an angle, moving my ruler so that I get the same angle on each of the sides. And then I have my line here, so I'm going to bring it up straight. Try and bring it up straight. All right, and then here it is here. Here. Bring it down. We're going to label this because our sun's going to be coming from over here. So here's our little ball of fire. That's what's going to give us our shadow. Light's coming down here. So this right here is going to be a 1. This is a 2. This is a 3 and a 4. Comes a 5 and a 6 for value. So we're going to start over here, going with our darker shades. It's flat, so you have more of a flat, even blend. You don't have to worry about curves quite as much. You still want to make sure you get it dark enough Again, still working in a circular motion. I'm going to go up in here and fill in my spaces that I missed. Go in here and go a little bit darker. Get my blending stump. Blend it out. Okay, and then up here, using just my blending stump, to get my values. Now, because it's got a sun, so we're going to have a shadow. Bring a line off over here. Same angle. Again, same angle each time. Take this angle and draw it out. Take this one, draw it down. Oh, a little crooked. We can fix that. And this here's all going to be a 7. Because it's all the dark, dark shadow. Fill it all in. One of the things to make your shapes look nice is by using the guidelines that we just showed there with the ruler. By constantly keeping your ruler at the same angle, you get the same angle for everything else. And it really helps to make a nice three-dimensional form that looks even. Go in here, I'm going to darken my 6 and 5 a little bit more. And there we go. There's that one. You must have the cube and the shadow. I'm going to sharpen my pencil here real quick. Remember, with these pencils, you don't want to use a mechanical sharpener. I always use a handheld. So we're going to draw a cylinder next. So that means just a line straight up and down. Trying to keep it the same. Line straight up and down. And this is where we're going to draw an oval. Okay. Now this curve here, you're trying to match it down here. Trying to have the same curve. Now with the cylinder, it's really important that you have the value on here good. So you're going to have, right here is going to be a 1. And here's going to be a 2. And then it's going to be divided vertically because the light hits it right here. So that means you're going to do dotted lines. That's the best way to go about it when you're learning. So there's 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So of course we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, starting off with our darkest edge. This is where it's really important that we try and get that blended value scale in there. You want to be able to have a nice, smooth transition. And I'll show you a little trick here to help make it rounder. So just filling in, going over, constantly making your value lighter. Again, this can be done by easing up on the pressure on your pencil. So so that you have a nice, even, beautiful cylinder. Pick up this, blend it out. Again, I'm still coloring in a circular motion even with my blending stump, because that'll help me get all the little teeth in my thing. Now, one of the things that also helps is coming back and doing this curve. That helps it make it look like it's actually rounded, following the plane of surface. Now, again, go back in, touch up, get some darks, make that 7 a little bit darker. Every time you use your blending stump, you are lightening and taking off some of the color. Next thing is you're going to have your shadow. Now, unlike the square, there's a curve here, so the shadow is not going to come directly off that. So we take it and we come out to the furthest point out and draw a line. My shadow's not going to be long enough, but that's okay. We're just practicing here. Again, here's this one. And try and follow that same curve. And this is all a 7 right here. So go in there and get it all nice and dark. Remember, your shadows are always a 7, unless you have multiple directional lighting. But for this, we're choosing our light source just as this one little light source right here. So you won't have multi-directional lighting. Filling that in. Try and make it look nice and even. Getting all the spots out. It's going to be really important. Okay, so there is our cylinder. Next, we're going to do a cone. So again, taking our stuff here, drawing a line, 2 parts of a triangle, right? And then this is where we draw the curve. Because again, it's an object that is rounded. For your sun, light's going to hit here. Now, the one thing about this is you're going to divide it like a pizza pie. So you're going to come in and have your dot lines that go down around this way. They're all starting at that same part up there because that's where the sun is hitting. It's all hitting that same thing. You want it to move around in a circular motion. So there's 4, 5, 6, and 7. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, I'm going to start over here with my darks. Just get that edge there. And because it's a pizza pie slice, it's wider down here than it is up there. So then go in and get your next color in, your next value, I mean. Blending it over, again, making sure you got that nice little pizza pie slice there. Trying to make sure you have a nice even slice for all your friends, because obviously they couldn't buy their own pizza slice, so you got to share yours. That's how we divide it and how the light hits it. Again, I'm going to stop when I get there and use my handy dandy blending stump. Again, curve. Using this curve will help make it look like it's rounded. It's going to be really important for all the things that are curved, following the plane of surface. Now you see here I got really dark over there. Taking my eraser, I can draw it over and lighten that up. Sometimes if my eraser is dirty, clean it off here on the paper, and then again lighten it up, giving it that nice curve. Go in and darken up my edge again. Just like with the cylinder, making our shadow, it doesn't come from that corner, it comes from the curve here. And there are ways to match the curve so you have the right angle for your shadow. I'm doing smaller shadows. Come over here and draw that line, and that's all a 7. All filled in. And there's that. See, as you can see the glare there, that's the hot spot. That's what I'm talking about. But it gives you a nice dark edge. And I was kind of in a hurry. All right, the next one we're going to do is a sphere. Now, to draw a circle, you can do it in small steps, just kind of going around. And until you have your circle looking the way you want, don't erase any of your lines. That's going to be the easiest way to ensure that you have a circle. As you can see, I need to go out here more. There's my circle. Again, we're going to have the light source coming from here. The light source coming down. Now, because it's round, the light's not going to hit on this edge. It's going to bounce up over here. So what we do is we create our hot spot, which is this little oval right here. Okay? Then we're going to move out an elliptical force going outwards, so it looks like a whole bunch of little tiny crescent moons. They get bigger the further they are away from the light. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, and then back here is going to be my 7. So I'm not going to label those ones because I don't want to put the numbers over things and arrows. But here's my 7, getting my nice dark edge back here. Having it all look really nice, because that's the furthest point away from the light. And there's my curve. See, you want to have that curve where it's like this crescent moon. It's not about straight lines for a circle, because it curves. You want to make sure that you have that curve. And then coming in and getting your 6. Trying to blend it smooth into the next color, the next value, so that you have this wonderful, smooth transition. You don't want it to be like your step value scale where you can see the lines between it. That's not going to make it look round and full and gorgeous. Okay, coming in. And each layer I'm going up, I'm making it lighter so that it looks like it's getting lighter. I do as much value change as I can with my pencil before I even think about using my blending stump. That way I have nice, even, beautiful values. And again, I'm stopping before I get to my 2 and my 1. I'm going to go out here. One of the things about a circle is you want to blend in a curve. If you blend straight across, you're going to flatten out your sphere so it doesn't look like it's round. You want it to be round. That is the most important thing with a sphere. Making it look like it has volume. So, again, coming around, making that curve, blending it smooth, and you have your value there. Now, shadow for a circle sphere is an oval. But there's one really important part that you got to know about it. So you come up, and there are ways to get this actual accurate. We're just going to draw one for now. You are going to have a reflected surface. So you're going to have just like this little highlight down here. And that's going to be a 1. Everything else is going to be a 7. What it is if you have a shiny surface, like say a billiard ball on your table, it creates this little hot spot on the table where the light is reflected off that shiny surface. So it's going to make sure that you get that. So we just draw it in there, make it look all nice. This is in your shadow for your sphere. This all together, right here is what you need to have. Make sure your name's on it. Take a picture and turn it in. Thank you.